Cronin Toyota and Cronin Nissan are honored to partner with Proudly We Served, as well as the continued support of our local active and retired military veterans across eastern Indiana.
I'm Al Bledsoe, Vietnam Veterans, Chapter 777.
I'm Ron Chappell, chaplain for the Vietnam Veterans Association 777 here in the city of Richmond, Indiana. And our guest this morning is Mark Dargie. And he's going to share with us, but he also got something he wanted to say.
What I want to get out there this morning is our food bank is going to be December 21st, 9 to 12 at the clinic. 9 to 12 at the clinic in the back of the parking lot. And it's always the fourth Tuesday of the month. This month, it's the third Tuesday of the month. So hope to see you there. And if you need something, come on out. So.
And what's the address of the clinic?
The address of the clinic is 1010 North J, I believe. Everybody knows where it's at. The corner of North J and 12th Street.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, Mark, how are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Okay.
Good.
It's
Mark,
really good to have you here, by the way. And
Thank you.
Your family and our family go back a long ways.
Long time,
and you've just been a stellar in the community of this stuff.
Yeah, I've been knowing him ever since when I first got here in '95. I think I went out there in '96 or something like that, and been going out there ever since. You know, so yeah.
Bob and I.
The only point of contention we had, I found out Mark was a Marine.
Oh my goodness!
He's a Marine.
Was you a Marine?
I know I'm dealing with a couple of Army guys.
Is that right?
Yes.
I did not know. I'm an Air Force guy.
Oh, Air Force.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm a polished guy.
Even worse.
So I did not know that about you. That is wonderful.
Yeah. But Pete McDaniels got me straight. We were talking about it inside each other and everything. He said, "Do you know what Army means?" I said, "Well, what does it mean?" He says, "Army means ain't ready for Marines yet."
Yeah.
So that shut me up. I said, "Okay."
So tell us a little bit about your service. When were you in?
I was in from, I joined in 1982, just before I graduated from high school.
Okay.
And of course, my parents weren't happy about it. They didn't want to sign, so I had to wait until I was 18. I signed up for delayed entry, went in September of '82, and went to San Diego for boot camp. And then after that, I was stationed at Kaneohe Bay Marine Corps Air Station in Hawaii.
Oh wow!
And so, of course, I wasn't an air wing. I was a grunt. So, but did several floats, in the Pacific, and then a deployment to Okinawa. So, it was a good time.
They had back in the day in Nam, you had to go to Okinawa for jungle survival school.
Right.
And of course, that's where most of the Marines were at. And the Marines in Nam, of course, they come in and cleaned up everything usually. We had our outfit. We had we kind of shared the same area as the Marines in. I think 4th Marine Division. Is there a 4th Marine?
Yep.
I think that's what it was in Nam. So I have a lot of respect for Marines. I mean, they are very disciplined, and you can tell. At our place, we have a Marine works in service, and he's probably one of the best. Very structured, very disciplined, very on time, very all the other stuff that goes with it.
Well, I appreciate it because when I went to Nam, we went in at Queen Yan, and the Marines had went in and cleaned out the area for us.
Yeah.
And so when we landed, it was a pretty smooth land.
Yeah.
So, your business. What do you guys do out there? I mean, I know, but for the public.
Well, we're a full-service shop. We do anything mechanical. I always like to say we do everything except for body work and paint. We don't do any painting, we don't do any body work. But other than that, if it's mechanical, we'll do it. Everything from oil changes up through brakes and major overhauls, engine or transmission overhauls. So do a little bit of everything.
And I've had several different makes of automobiles that I've taken out there. You guys do a great job. It doesn't matter what the make of the car is.
We try. We always specialized, when we moved out to that building back in '94 or whatever that was. Dana was still here, and all the executives that worked at Dana drove Audis, Mercedes, Volkswagens, that kind of thing, and they would just bring the cars in and drop them off, and then and go to work. And so that's why the business is where it's at. And then when Dana closed down, of course, we started doing everything else too. We always specialized in European imports, but we still do. But we work on everything now.
Yeah. Do you do training for that, or how do you do that? Do you have to go to school, or?
Well, we don't have any. We have training that we do online.
Yeah. Okay.
We don't go to any schools for it, but most of what we do is all hands-on training. We like to bring the guys in fresh and just teach them
Sure.
from there, versus having to go to school and all that. School is fine, but we don't require it.
So someone who would be interested in working there, you would train them.
Well, they have to be mechanical.
Yeah.
Obviously, but you can't take a dishwasher and make them a mechanic. But yeah, we would be able to train. Yeah. Start out at the bottom, as long as they're willing to start out at the bottom and work their way up.
How many mechanics do you have?
Right now we have four
Wow.
mechanics, and then we have the on the other side of the building is the engine shop where they build the racing engines and the things for circle track, dirt track cars.
Someone had told me that was separate from.
It is separate.
It is?
It's a brother. Our brother owns it.
Okay.
On our side we have Bruce and I are brothers, and then on that side is Mike, and he has two of his sons working for him. So.
Okay, good. So how many years total has the business been?
It's been in that building for 25 years, and then it was 3 years before that. There was a building behind Hawkins Speed Shop where Bruce started out.
Okay.
A little two-bay shop back there. And then before that, he worked at the Auto House on North A Street here in Richmond.
Okay.
A long time. Yes,
Yeah.
Ron, we're old. Thank you.
How
Well,
many
that's good for
Dargies
people to
are
know,
there?
you know.
Mm-hmm.
In our family?
Is there 7?
There's 7.
7, yeah.
5 boys
okay.
and 2 girls, yeah.
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 All mechanical.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Well, yeah.
That's awesome.
What a heritage, I mean.
I was going to say.
Just-
Yeah. Gee whiz. Well, I'm not mechanical inclined. I'm not. I just take it to you guys.
How much of the veteran community do you do, and what can we do to help drive more people your way? Or
Well, I've been talking to Ron a little bit about that. We don't really have a set program. I think after the first of the year, we're going to come up with a veterans discount program. I don't know exactly what it'll be yet, but we're going to figure something out for that because I do want to give back to the veterans too.
Sure.
I appreciate all of them too, even the Army guys and the Air Force guys. But yeah, we have a lot of veterans that come in.
sure.
We
We have a good reputation. I mean,
we try to have a Marine Corps flag flying all the time, so everybody will know.
sounds like.
But Bruce is, and that's because, of course, I was a Marine, but Bruce also has 2 sons that are Marines too. So
Oh wow.
yeah,
But he wasn't in.
he wasn't. No.
Okay. Yeah.
My goodness.
That's great, though, man. Shoot.
You got to have that many military people or prior military people working a business like that. I think we got 4 or 5 people that are ex-military people. They always try to, or if I'm around, I mean, I try to chase it to make sure military people get the best deal they can. But at the same time, sometimes a deal's only as good as if you feel good about it and I feel good about it, it's a good deal.
Exactly.
I mean, no matter what the discount is, that's just a way to keep score maybe. But,
Right.
you know, I think the day in what you guys do, you have to have a lot of respect for that, because if you can do the job, that's a big part of it, I think.
Yeah.
Getting the job done right the first time
Yeah.
and not having to take it back. But the way cars are nowadays, they're so complicated, or they just...
Well,
You're
they're
in line.
horrible because, you know, you try to, like you bring a car in for a certain thing, say the check engine light's on, you bring it in, you scan it, you go through the test, you figure out that it needs, let's say it needs an ignition coil. So you put an ignition coil on it, clear the codes, drive the car, everything's fine, the customer takes it, comes back a couple days later, check engine light's back on again. But the check engine light's like it's like a tree, you know, it branches off into all directions.
Sure.
So if something down here at the base of the tree turns on the check engine light, everything past that stops testing. It doesn't test that anymore because it's not, this down here isn't reliable, so nothing past that can be reliable. So you fix this root problem, and then all of a sudden something up here tests and it comes on, then something past that tests and then comes on. So that's the biggest thing with, because everything's so computerized now, it's
Sure.
at the heart of it's mechanical, but there's so many computers running everything,
Yeah.
it's difficult to keep up with.
Gracious, you gotta be a computer science major.
Yeah, yeah. All the different scan tools you have to speak to the different cars, and it's crazy. But
So, I feel that veterans should receive special treatment. You know, because let's face it, if it wasn't for us, there would be no opportunities for the things that people are able to do,
right,
because we protect the
Do we
country.
lose track of that? You know, sometimes I think we lose track of that. Today, when I was coming to work, I listened to HIO, which is conservative radio, but they were talking about December 7th and
Arbor Day.
what happened December 7th when the Japanese, out of nowhere, if you will, attacked us, and we were caught blindsided, basically.
right.
How many people listen to that? How many people really care about that? You know, and I'm on board with that. I mean, I want everything I can get for the veteran community, but is that getting to be an old story, maybe, that people aren't listening quite as much as they used to?
Old story meaning.
Yeah, I mean that they're not paying attention to veterans, and yeah, so what? You know, that in fact, I just, when they were talking about that, they were talking about, I can't quote the guy, but he said, you know, someday we'll be saying this is the last of the great generation, the World War II guys.
Right.
And then he went on to say, and we all know what happened to Nam, and we'll go on to something else. So he just skipped over that end of it. It's like it never happened.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get that opinion that nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody cares that it happened. I mean, we care, we're veterans. And most veterans care, a lot of people care, but there's a segment out there, I think, that don't care.
But the growth of the nation and the success that we have seen, even though we've had some issues, but we've had more successes, I believe, as a country. And it's predicated on things that have happened before. You know what I'm saying? The freedom is a result of us going wherever we went and defending the country, providing whatever service was needed.
Yeah.
You know, for national defense, we did that. And so that gave this guy down here the opportunity to feel comfortable opening up a business, you know, that kind of thing.
Sure.
I don't think it ever get old. I think the story needs to be told over and over and over again. So
Well, I
that
think,
people
I
realize-
mean, I agree with that, but sometimes when I'm out talking to people, I get the opinion that it's I mean, people acknowledge that, but it's not like, and maybe I expect more out of it than what it is. Because you know as well as I do, we were not real popular when we come home.
Especially from Nam, yeah.
Especially from Nam.
Back in, even when I joined in '82, you know, the consensus was, why would you want to do that, you know, and bring up the whole Vietnam thing and all that.
Sure.
And, you know, I did it anyway, but today, after the Gulf War and all of that, that it seems like veterans are held in more esteem than they were.
Yeah.
You had the World War II generation was the greatest generation, and they're all held in esteem. But you had Korea and Vietnam, not so much.
Right,
Didn't pay much
exactly.
attention to them.
In fact, Korea is known, I think, as the Forgotten
War, yeah.
And because we kind of just skipped over it, we went from World War II, we stopped just momentarily for Korea and went on to Nam, and then that ended up to be a fiasco.
A disaster.
And then, and then when we started with this Iraq stuff, and my brother was in the Army when Iraq first happened in 1990. He was for the 82nd Airborne. And he was there for probably 9 months, maybe, but forever and a day it changed his life.
Yeah.
And he's never, I come from a big family too. There's 12 of us. And my mother always said that Merle's not the same. Something's happened to him. And you can't talk about that. It's hard to talk about. You find very few soldiers, if you will, that's going to talk about stuff like that.
Yeah. But now,
And that's too bad, I think, because I think people need to hear the stories.
No, I think, yeah.
Even if they're gruesome or whatever, they need to hear it.
Yeah.
Because, like I say, war is hell.
Yeah.
And the truth needs to be out there.
That's exactly right. And I think, I agree with that. And I think the more you talk about it, the better it is. We've got an old guy that comes out to the shop out there, and he's just a ball of emotion.
Yeah.
He was a Nam guy, and my goodness. And I feel so sorry for him. I don't know what to do, but I sat and listened to what he's got to say. But it's sad that how could that happen? How could a grown man? How could you break a person like that so much that they emotionally they can't even hardly talk about that? But he wants to talk about it because he said he feels better if he does.
Yeah.
well, what's most important is he's got a place to take his vehicle if it's not working.
That's
True.
right.
That's
true.
That's the important thing. I don't want to get too far off our topic.
Well, and I know, and I think that people, when they take them to a place like their place, they feel a little bit more secure because you're dealing with people that's been around a little bit. They just didn't start it on a whim one day. It's pretty structured. So, yeah, I agree with that.
So, have you given any thought to any particular things, or just of service in general about opportunities for veterans or breaks for veterans?
For the discounts, whatever. Well, I assumed I'd probably do something like a blanket discount. 10%, 15%, something like that. We'll have to sit down and look at it, but it'll be a blanket thing on the entire bill versus this much on the parts or whatever with the labor.
Right.
It'll just be a blanket thing. I think that's for the computers. It's much easier to set up. So
I think certainly a discount on the parts and stuff would be maybe in order, but I think a discount on the labor, because that's something you have to pay out no matter what.
Right.
You can't go to a guy and say, well, Friday we sold 5 things at discount, so you're going to have to give us $100 back or something.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
But I like the idea of the overall just blanket discount. Yeah, that way you don't have to be figuring out this part, this section, and all that.
Well, it's pretty cut and dried. It's parts and labor.
Yeah, it is true.
You're trying to give up the farm. You can't give up the farm.
Can't give up the farm, yeah.
But that's good. So, how many veterans do you think you service now? What would you think a normal week, maybe?
It's hard to tell because a lot of them you don't know. They could be veterans and you have no idea. But we do have quite a few, probably 10 or 12 a week that come in that have some type of a hat or a shirt on, that lets you know who they are. So that would be the thing, how do you know who's the veteran and who's not?
Yeah.
So they would have to be able to speak up,
Yeah.
I think that's how we started. I came out there and I had a hat on or something. You asked me
Yep.
about my service.
Yep, probably did. And then I found out you were Army and, sorry
Had
about
pity
that.
on me. Oh well.
But I appreciate you especially because you served so many years. What was it,
24
years?
24 years.
How long did you serve, Al?
4.
4 years. That's what I did too.
Yeah.
6 years total, but 4 years active. I think that might be the one thing I might do differently. I probably would have stayed in for 20, but
I would have
I
probably
appreciate
stayed,
that.
but they got into talking of education and stuff like that. And of course, I was 22 years old. Education was the farthest thing from my mind.
Exactly, yeah.
Because I had a chance to go to a computer school in Iowa, I think it was. And I thought, nobody wants to do that. But look what computers are now. And that was back, that had been on the ground floor. That had been 1971. So that would have been the ground floor before anything really got to be anything in computers. So
I did all my undergraduate work. I did all that while I was in. The Army paid for it. You know?
sure.
And so when I got out, they had this Servicemen's Opportunity College program, College Opportunity Program. And those services, those classes, those credits, could be transferred to major universities. Because I had to go to school in Thailand and Germany and, you know, all these different places.
Oh, wow.
And normally, if a person does that, they can lose something, you know, in the transfer. But the Army had an agreement with, or Department of Defense had an agreement with these folks, and so we were able to retain our credits. And so that worked for me.
How do you align with the colleges and stuff? Do you get mechanics from like IU? Do they have an Ivy Tech? Do they have courses? They surely have
Ivy
mechanic.
Tech has courses.
Yeah, I
don't
would think they would
IU
have
does.
mechanical courses.
But
And that would be ideal for discounts. For veterans, if they go to school, they still get their college paid for them. Okay, so
So, how are you standing right now in terms of mechanics? Or do you have sufficient numbers, or do you?
yeah, we
need
have
more,
we have what we need right now. You know, you could always think you need more, but I would need more bays to have more mechanics. So at this time, I'm not looking at that, but we're full right now. So pretty happy with what we have.
Okay, that's good. That's good. But that would not cause someone not to consider making application.
Oh no, anytime. Yeah, I will take applications all the
Yeah.
time. 'Cause you never know what's going to
Sure.
come down the road. So
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, there's not a lot of turnover, I don't think. Once you find a mechanic, once they find a home, they don't change around a lot, do they? I mean, they
not unless they figure out that that's not really what they want to do, or
yeah.
you know, something like that. You know, they move on to something else.
Yeah.
Well, nowadays you have to have so much knowledge to work on a car. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't even imagine. But
Okay. We got about 4 minutes left. Al, why don't you tell them about the food?
yeah, the food pantry is going to be this month. It's going to be December 21st, 9 to 12, at the clinic on 1010 North J Street, I believe is the address. But it sits on the corner of J and 12th, I believe. And that's December 21st, 9 to 12 on the back parking lot. After that, it'll be the fourth Tuesday of the month, which generally it is. The only reason we moved it up is because Christmas on Saturday. So,
Is that a veterans food
yes,
pantry
it's
for
a
veterans?
veterans pantry.
Yeah.
We started it back when we started, just right after the kind of COVID got over a little bit. We started it, and we had it at the VFW. And it was discouraging because it wasn't happening, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we got together with Seabach finally. They allowed us, if you will, to, because it was a big thing with COVID, you ain't selling anything on the property. You know. Anyway, it got to the point where they finally said, okay, here's what we can do and here's what we want you to do. And it all worked out, and now it's grown. Last month we did 100, I'm going to say, maybe 98.
Wow.
And we had to turn 6 people away, I think. We didn't have enough because the other side of it is the shortage. And when you gleaners in Midwest, they supply all that stuff. So if there's a shortage, we get to.
You feel it, yeah.
Yeah, we feel it, and it's not canned goods. If you will, it's meat. Meat's a big deal, very big deal.
Mark,
So-
anything you want to share last moment about the business and?
Not really. Just that I appreciate all the veterans and make sure you come in and tell me who you are when you do come in,
Sure.
so I can talk to you about it. But
Work on
other
those
than that, yeah.
discounts.
Work on those discounts. Yeah.
heck yeah.
We're glad to have you here.
What's the
and it's a-
address? What's the
it's-
address?
The address for the shop is 1700 Northwest 11th Street. And we're basically right behind Camping World on Northwest 11th. So everybody knows where that is.
Sure.
So they can just go straight back behind there, and we're down the street there.
Well, I think it's a very lighthearted environment. I mean, it's different.
Yeah.
It's different. I think you would enjoy doing business with these guys. Yeah.
Well, there's times that it's not so
Oh
lighthearted.
yeah, yeah.
There's time they have
I've
to get
witnessed a
serious.
few. but
We do try to keep it light enough.
Well, you
it's
know,
handled very well. Very.
I'm glad to hear. I mean, you're the Marine, and as much as I know you guys and the family and all that, I just didn't know that. That's
You know, Marine?
no.
That's all right.
Yep.
Okay.
But I'm glad to hear that. So,
Okay. All right. All right.
All right.
I guess we're about ready
We're
to
outta
wrap
here.
it up, huh?
Yep.
Hey, so folks, thanks for watching Proudly We Serve. This program is for and about veterans and to help to lift up and encourage businesses that are veteran-owned and let veterans know where they are and, to get the service. And, that's kind of what it's all about, isn't it?
Veterans supporting veterans. Right?
Veterans supporting veterans. Yeah. Okay.
Thanks for watching.
All right, folks. Thanks.
Thank you.
Cronin Toyota and Cronin Nissan are honored to partner with Proudly We Served, as well as the continued support of our local active and retired military veterans across eastern Indiana.